Hello. I like to say that my main export is embarrassment. And this particular story, I was in Rome, Italy. My parents are Italian immigrants, and so my whole family is still in Italy, and I used to go every summer to visit them. And I spent most of my time with my paternal grandparents, who were both fancy schmancy aristocrats. Not aristocats, but aristocrats. And the things that they prioritized were like etiquette, presentation, keeping up appearances was very important to them. So for a long period of time, so I grew up in a bicultural household, and, my parents spoke Italian at home, and my sister had the benefit where she learned Italian first and then English. So she had a perfect accent and spoke fluently. And I learned English first and then Italian, so I was a little janky. And I got to a point where I was so embarrassed to talk that I just stopped talking and was quiet all the time, which actually was detrimental because then I wasn't practicing. So on this one trip, I was 11. And I was going to have dinner with my uncle, have this specialty ice cream, which was basically at the time all I was eating was only dessert. So, and then I was going to go over to my grandmother's dinner party with her 30 best socialite grandmas and just have a grand old time all night. So I go out to dinner with my uncle, and it's great. And then we go to get this specialty ice cream, and that's all I care about. And it's called a tartufo, which is essentially a ball of ice cream with a huge tennis ball of chocolate syrup on the inside. And then it's coated in a layer of dipping Lindt chocolate on the outside. So I know, it's good. So we were in a rush because I was rushing late. So my my uncle was like, it's fine, just eat it in the car. And I was like, great. So I'm wearing this pale pink polo dress. It's a polo, but it's a dress. And I don't know what this thing is because no one explained it to me. So I just crack right into it, and the chocolate syrup just explodes all over my lap. And I'm trying to enjoy it, but I can't enjoy it because I'm just looking at the spot, just freaking out, like Lady Macbeth, because I have to see all these grandmas, and they're all gonna judge the hell out of me. I'm already American, gross. I don't speak well, and I'm gonna show up with a huge brown stain. So I'm just sweating in the car on the way over there. But then I'm like, it's fine. I'm gonna run to the bathroom. I'm gonna clean myself, and I'm gonna get away with it. So we get to this apartment. It's this beautiful, panoramic view of Rome. Imagine Versace's house. It was that. It was all marble. I'm like, Caesar? Okay, so I go straight to the bathroom, and I try to use tissue paper, which, as we all know, is death, to get this thing out. And not only is it not coming out, but it's getting worse, and I've just drenched my whole bottom torso. So I've been in the bathroom way too long. So I'm like, I have to get out. So I run out to this parlor room of all these 80-something grandmas lived through World War II. And I immediately run to a chair where I start to just shove the dress into my crotch so that no one will see it. And they're asking me questions so how's America? What's your favorite color? And I'm so nervous, they can smell it. And so I keep running back and forth between there and the bathroom. And my grandma pulls me aside and she's like, are you okay? And I had forgotten the Italian word for stain. And I was just the embarrassment was too much, right? That I just froze and was oh, I'm fine. And then just kept running to the bathroom. So the evening ended. And years later, in a jovial moment with my grandma, I shared this story with her. And we laughed about it and we had a good time. And then in the most nonchalant way whatsoever, she goes, yeah, well, I just told them all that you just had raging diarrhea. And I was like, what? She's like, well, you kept going to the bathroom. There was no explanation. You must have had raging diarrhea. And I was like, some of those women were 80. And then they died. And their only meeting with me was that I had raging diarrhea in their house, which wasn't true. So for so long, I just had this strong desire to want to control my embarrassment. And I thought that I could do that by silencing myself or being quiet. And all that does is just feeds people's imaginations. So in the end, a stain on a skirt is much better than diarrhea.